I genuinely feel like I've been lobotomized. It's time to start another reading vlog. It's Friday, y'all. It's actually Friday the 13th to be specific, and Kevin's come to join us. Hello. Oh, you have lipstick on your face from me kissing you earlier. That's fine. That's normal, right? Anyway, so I've decided for this vlog that I really need to get some priority reads cranked out because I looked at my list and I've done a terrible job. And I genuinely, when I put that list together, was like, I'm gonna read all of these and everyone's gonna be so impressed. 0 people are impressed, especially me. I'm going to for sure read The Unrequited by Saffron A. Kent. And then I also want to read The Words by Ashley Jade or AJade. That's a big boy. And I know if I don't record it, she won't read it. So this is me being accountable. And then finally, I want to do a Captor Captive. I know for sure that that's what I want the 3rd book to be. I just don't know if I want to read Comfort Food by Kitty Thomas or if I want to read Blair by Anita Gray. I want to read one of those. So that's the plan. And the reason I need to get this started is because I'm already halfway through The Unrequited and I realized I hadn't done an intro clip. The Unrequited, what is this bad boy about? We have Layla, who is our heroine, and she has previously been pretty infatuated with a guy. It's caused her to make some not great decisions. She's trying to change her ways. She's going to therapy. She's not around this person anymore. She's not even in contact with them. And so she's really trying to be a better person. However, she ends up running into this guy on campus, and it's not like they even have an interaction. She just kind of sees him smoking, and there's something about him that she is just absolutely pulled in by, and then realizes later that she keeps running into this guy, right? Just like around campus, she's just kind of happens to see him. So at one point, she follows him and ends up in this poetry class and realizes it's his class because he's a professor, not a student. She is not registered for this class. She sits her butt down. The hero, this professor, he's like arrogant, brusque. He is a poet by trade, and he's doing this professor situation out of necessity. So he's used to people really fawning over him and like being really into his work. And even though Layla's kind of starting to fawn over him and be interested, she doesn't even know who the heck he is. She's very different than the other students that he's used to. She also doesn't really have any interest in English, but the problem is he is super married. Although he seems to be her new obsession, she knows it can't go anywhere, so this should be fine, right? This is a way to redirect her attention away from her previous obsession and onto something that's not even attainable. So part of what I find so fascinating about this book is that a lot of people describe Layla as this unhinged woman, and usually when authors write an unhinged woman, they write them in a kind of infantilized way, in a very immature way. Think like Harlequin, right? Like she acts very childlike. Layla's not like that. She's pretty almost like self-assured in ways that you and I would not be. She just doesn't adhere to social norms in quite a few ways, which makes her seem like kind of like a normal level of unhinged, not like and like some people, you know what I mean? She does have this like certain self-awareness because she is kind of going to therapy. She knows she's not supposed to be doing certain things. She's gotten in trouble for doing certain things in the past. So she's got this self-awareness to her, this interest in not engaging in these unhinged behaviors, but she's also still not normal. It's just kind of fun watching her be unabashed. And it's really interesting. It's really, really interesting. But we've already kind of seen that she's maybe like not the most reliable. And it's not because I think she's, totally unhinged. I think she kind of fell into the trap that we all fall into where we're so limited by our own perspective that sometimes we can't really see outside of it. And so our interpretation of a certain set of events are completely different than someone else's. And both of them are valid interpretations. And maybe this is me extending too much sympathy towards her, but psychologically, I am absolutely fascinated by her. And I think this story is really layered because like on the face of it, like when you read the description, it sounds like Layla's just this unhinged gal. She's just going after this guy. He's just trying to like save his marriage. And not that that's like not true, but there's so much more complexity to it. He weirdly kind of it feels like a kindred spirit to her because he's got the poetry, like artsy dude side. So I think he can relate to her in certain ways. There's other things going on that make you kind of be able to justify certain behaviors. I'm having a really good time with it so far. I think I'm like 50% in. I have it on audio. I've been listening to it on the bus to and from work, and I just did a 3-day intensive workshop where we basically did a month's worth of work in 3 days and developed a draft of a product. I'm exhausted. I am shocked I'm as coherent as I am because I genuinely feel like I've been lobotomized. But if my countenance is off, just know that that's what it is. I am going to probably listen to this while I shop tomorrow. I need to prep for my Japan trip. I need to pick up some more stuff for my wardrobe for that. I'm trying to build a capsule wardrobe. I have a few more pieces I need to grab to round that out. And then tonight, I probably won't get any more read though, because I was planning on curling up and watching A Discovery of Witches, but I want a pint of beer. So we're going to have to leave the house for that. And that probably means I'm going to get Vietnamese food while I'm out. Details none of you needed and no one was interested in, but that's what I'm doing with my evening. Happy Friday the 13th, y'all. I'm gonna go do that and then hopefully have this wrapped up. If I have any moments, I will update you, even if I'm in public. I have no shame. All right, see you soon. Okay, since I don't ever tell you what day it is, and if you at home are wanting to keep track, it's Monday. Hope that helps. Okay, bye. I rescind my earlier comments that she's not unhinged. I just got to a part that at first when I read it, I didn't fully I wasn't fully putting together how unhinged this behavior was, because when you're in her head, a lot of this just feels kind of normal. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't read the book. She got a tattoo for him, and then to present it to him, showed up butt-ass naked under a coat, and then she just did a little cha-cha reveal. What the fuck? It took me longer than it should have to fully appreciate how wild of a move that was. I don't know, something about how the author wrote it, I felt like it was that's normal behavior. I'm concerned for myself right now. I don't know. She's kind of like a artistic genius, artistic madness kind of feel to her. Anyways, I'm gonna finish this and then I'll give you my full thoughts. See you in a second. Okay, so I know I said excuse the hair. I just tried a new air dry cream for curly hair or wavy hair, and I don't quite know how to use it yet. I think I like the product, but yeah, I've got a Farrah Fawcett side here and then just regular wavy chaos. So it just looks really ridiculous on camera, but I digress. So I have a lot to kind of catch you up on. So I didn't end up reading at all over the weekend, at all. I didn't read physically, audio, nothing. That reaction that I had was on Monday. It's now Tuesday. That's where we're at. I just had to take a break from reading. I had a lot going on. I haven't been sleeping very well. I've been a little bit sick. So I needed to just take a knee for a second. But I have finished The Unrequited by Saffron A. Kent. And I don't know, much like R.I.P. by Charity B., I think too hard about books like this, where we have these kind of wild and unhinged characters. I'm but what are you trying to say? I almost over intellectualize it, I think. That said, oh boy, she got so much more unhinged. And it reminds me a lot of a quote unquote normal level of unhinged, not some of how the other authors write them now, where they're just fully off the deep end. She's your wild ex from high school that the more you got to know them, the more you were oh, can't believe you think this behavior is normal. And her behavior does escalate the more she's kind of encouraged by the relationship, or she thinks there's more to kind of cling on to. It's almost it gives her more and more courage, and she keeps doing these things that are just, oh my God, give me the worst secondhand embarrassment. But then she talks about him in these very poetic ways. So it almost makes her feel just a mad genius. But also he's a little bit mad too. He's got a little bit going on. The way these two justify things, it's just enough for you to not think it's as weird as you probably should think it is. The way she is written as being unhinged, she seems to be able to attract a lot of people. So it's not clear, is she actually this unhinged, or does she feel more unhinged because we have her internal dialogue? And to most other people, she just feels really bold. I keep wanting to say artsy. She's not super artistic, but you kind of get the energy, right? It's not enough to put people's hackles up. Does that make any sense? I hope so. That ending was really wild because towards the middle, it was just smashing and smashing and smashing. Because that's a lot of how they relate to each other, because it's an affair. It's not It's not a true relationship, and there's like time jumps and all sorts of stuff that I wasn't really anticipating. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know how to rate this because I kind of got interrupted during the reading process, and I feel like just caused it to lose a little bit of momentum. Is when I was reading it every day in a row, I was really feeling like I was whatever this is. I was really feeling like it was like building to something. And then I think because I took a break, it just like deflated like a balloon. Good, not great, right? But not bad either. So it's like a 4-star. That's kind of my logic there. Anyway, so I don't know how I'm going to pull this off. I need to have this posted by Friday. So we're going to read Comfort Food and The Words at the same time. And the lie detector test determined that was a lie. More Povich fans, anyone? Yeah, I ended up reading The Words first and then Comfort Food, just to clarify. I just fully lied. My pea brain couldn't handle 2 books at once. Okay, bye. And see if we can crank through this. So I'm gonna need someone to sacrifice a chicken on my behalf in order to get some good juju on my side. I will update you on one of them at some point soon. Chat in a second. I want to give you a little tiny update about The Words. I was just gonna film another video, actually my wrap up for September. I'm not that far in. I'm not even past like the full synopsis. I think I'm probably only like 6-7 chapters in or something like that. But I want to give you a short update because I had some thoughts already. Before I do that, basically what this is about. Lennox and Phoenix. Wait, what? No, Lennon. Wait, Lennox would be their couple name. Oh, I'm a genius. Okay, someone's already thought of that for sure. But anyway, you have Lennon. Her father is a pretty famous songwriter. She's like really good at school, but she is bullied quite frequently because she is on the heavier side. Just doesn't really go over with nasty, nasty high school students. She's picked on a lot for that. And she's always had a little bit of a crush on this guy named Phoenix. He's kind of mysterious. He's like long blonde hair. He's a bad boy type. It's always kind of been admiring him from afar. And he's kind of from like the wrong side of the tracks. Classic crush in high school, right? Or maybe I just outed something about myself. Lennon's really, really good at school and she's like almost valedictorian. So her English, I almost said professor because I just read Unrequited. What is with these books in English? Why couldn't it be math? Whatever. It doesn't matter. Why is my brain stuck on this? Her English teacher ends up kind of like tapping her and was like, hey, like there's the student that needs some help. Can you help them out? And she's like, oh, I'll feel guilty if I don't do it. So she agrees to and then finds out it's this guy that she's had a crush on. So they end up having these tutoring sessions. He's kind of a little bit of a bully still to her and kind of pushes her around and is kind of like, oh, my way or the highway. I don't have time for you. I don't have time for school. I'm too cool. But eventually they kind of start building this friendship, especially after she figures out that he has some undiagnosed dyslexia and that he's been able to successfully cover it up because he's been cheating. She also discovers that they have like the same taste in music and he's in this band and he's trying to make it big and he just wants to get out of this place and his home life like really, really sucks. I know at some point they have a falling out and then many years later he is famous and in this band and loses someone. I think someone dies maybe. And so he's like on a self-destructive path and they end up hiring Lennon because they know that she will not sleep with him because that is something he just tends to do like throughout life, it seems. And it has extended into he sleeps with all of his sober coaches. So, okay. And if you were like me and you're like, why didn't they just hire a guy if he's a heterosexual male? They did try and hire guys, but then he got them to sleep with groupies and get them to loosen up and go off the deep end and party. So it doesn't work regardless of gender. Okay, that's all I popped on to say. Lennon will never sleep with him. Lennon really, really hates him and also really needs the money. So she'll do it. So I'm not even to like the part where they've like gotten in the fight, but I just like have to say a couple things. This is transporting me back to high school and it's like not in a fun way. Like I forgot how much high school sucks. Like, well, I didn't forget, but like having to relive it with someone who's also not having a good time is like not fun. And also the fat phobia in this is like, it's kind of a lot because of how people like police people in bigger bodies, what they're eating and what they're doing and moralize everything. There's like a lot around food. So if you're sensitive about that, just like be careful, take care of yourself. It's hard to listen to. And especially because like the hero makes some comments that just like, oh, she would be pretty if she just lost a little bit of weight, or, oh my God, I would never sleep with her. Certain things that you can kind of tell that it's a little bit of a front because he's trying to be like cool. And also he's just like a shitty teenager. And so he's like not interrogating like how awful his comments are to anyone else because he's just focused on himself. The crux of being a teenager, right? Like you're just so into yourself that you don't really see outside of your own perspective. It's kind of hard to read knowing that he's going to be the love interest down the road. He's just said some like really shitty things about her. Just like, it's just bothering me. That's all I had to pop on to say. High school is such a shitty time. Anyway, I'm going to keep reading. See you soon. I just got to the truth or dare scene. And yes, this is my third outfit change of the day. I just got back from working out. Just been reading here on my floor. I'm not even 25% in, I don't think. Hi, Kevin. Coming to join me? Oh, he's sniffing the mic. I hope that didn't pick up. But I just got to the part where he does the thing, breaks them up even though they weren't fully together, and why she hates him. He's gonna have to do a lot for me to get past this. I'm annoyed with him for the main thing that she's mad about. I don't know why he added in an extra issue. Spoilers for people who haven't read this. I don't get why he slept with that gal before going on stage. He was already gonna hurt her with stealing her song. Why did he add that in? He's gonna have to explain himself, and he's gonna have to explain a lot. Hi, yes, for those of you keeping track at home, this is now my 4th outfit change of today. It's still Tuesday. Back in my grungy, disgusting sweatshirt for your viewing pleasure. It turns out you have to change a lot of shirts when you are a grungy animal that works from home, then have to film a video, then need to work out, then need to resume your grungy animal life again. That's the phase we're at now. But anyways, I wanted to update you on the words. I'm now 40% in. I cannot stop reading this book. It's so good. A couple things. One, I have a question for everyone. This is a brain bug that's happening in real time. I have noticed in a lot of books that characters will grab plastic water bottles, buy it in a pack of 24 water bottles. They'll grab them out of the fridge and drink from them. Do y'all keep water bottles at your house, in your fridge at the ready? 'Cause I don't, and I want to know if I'm the weirdo. Why are so many characters drinking those water? I have so many questions. If you're one of those people, can you tell me? Because I'm just curious how prevalent it is. Anyways. Not the real update. So did I say I'm 40% in? I am 40% in. One, there was a very spicy scene. It was a scene I'm shocked that has been kept under wraps from me. I don't know how this hasn't made it in marketing promo material or reels or something. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. So if you haven't read it, skip ahead 30 seconds. But for everybody else, the surprise meow meow eating? What? That shit caught me off guard. That was unexpected. And then for it to be revenge, okay, not spoiler stuff anymore. Come back, everyone. I got the worst secondhand embarrassment during the sound check where she steps in. I still can't tell if she did the sound check because she was trying to draw him out or because she was trying to get the mic level, but that doesn't make any sense because then they could just have anyone go up and sing, right? I don't know. But I get the worst secondhand embarrassment from people that you don't know are going to be good singers going up and singing, even though you kind of know that Lennon can sing. There's something about that that's embarrassing when it's in front of other people and you're just not sure if they can pull it off. They're not a rock star that's consistently known for being able to sing well. Looking at you, Alex from Twisted Love. Still think about that sometimes and it makes me deeply uncomfortable. That's trauma. Anyway, that's all I popped on to say. I'm going to see how much further I can get today. I probably won't update you until tomorrow though. And hopefully I'll be in a different sweatshirt. I own so many sweatshirts. Why do I keep wearing this one? I'm a gross girl. That's why. Anyway, okay, bye. Also, RIP to my glasses. These just broke while I was reading. The frames popped while they were on my face. I'm so sad. I have tons of backups, but these were my favorites. Hi, so we have some absolutely atrocious lighting. And yes, I did change my outfit. You're welcome. It's Wednesday evening. I just finished the words. And honestly, I've been kind of sitting here processing because I didn't really take many notes. I was just really enjoying the experience of reading this book. And so it's because I don't have those notes, because I didn't take a lot of time even while I was reading the book to really reflect on how I was feeling or even take breaks from it. What I'm saying is I binged it. And so it's really good in that way, but I'm having a hard time putting together why I like it. Kevin is here. Well, there you go. At first, I was not really sold on Phoenix's character because I just didn't feel like he did enough nice things that I felt like he really saw Lennon to justify why she was so into him, other than she had, kind of those nonsensical infatuations that you have at that age. I saw so much change with him. And even when he was really mad at her because he knew he was in the wrong, he knew he fucked up, and he was kind of relishing in how she would hurt him and almost hurting her as a way of kind of self-harm almost. He was violent around her where she could have been collateral damage. So there's like a couple moments where I was like, how are you going to pull this around? And then like slowly you just watch him really reassess the decisions he has made in his life and then how he's going to completely make them about Lennon instead because he realized he made the wrong decision. It was so gradual, you almost didn't realize it. And so much of this book was just them going through these trials and tribulations and figure out like how they work together. And like so much of it caused them to fight because they've got wounds that they're dealing with and it makes them lash out at each other because it feels like a safe place to lash out. A lot of their relationship was that. Towards the end, there's like a moment where Phoenix gets to be there for her. I will say I didn't super love the love triangle. I get how it served the plot. Lennon trying to like pick someone that's just completely different. That dude was such a dick. Although she was such an ass to him too. It's just one of those where I was just like, oh, I just could have done without that. I always end up feeling bad for people in love triangles, whoever doesn't end up with a person, even if they're like a complete asshole. I'm like, they deserve love too. Guess that's the dark romance girly in me. I think I started this thought earlier and didn't finish it, but I feel like this really walked a really good line for me of dark romance and contemporary, because I think ultimately I would consider this a contemporary, but my darkness meter is fully broken. So you be the judge, but I would say this is a contemporary, but it had just enough of those kind of like dark romance feeling that I really liked it. I liked it. There was a shocking amount of spice in this. I was like a little surprised like how often it happened, just considering it's like an enemies to lovers, but there's so much hate fucking, which is like so yummy. I do have one complaint though. One major complaint. I hate when precocious teenagers, is precocious the right word I want? I don't know. You know what I'm saying. I don't like when precocious teenagers enter the chat. It annoys me because it's so clearly just a vehicle to have the hero and heroine or the two main characters bond over something and have to come together and like have a greater good cause, show a more maternal or paternal side of them. And I just don't care because I find the teenagers annoying. They're like making quippy jokes, but also like fully don't understand what's going on and yet always getting in trouble because emotions and hormones, and I hate it. And that was in here, but overall, I had such a good time. That ending, I feel a little mixed about. I loved most of it, but the very, very ending, I was like, felt like Phoenix wasn't fully doing what he loved. I was a little bit sad about that part, but I also get it because we're making better decisions. That's how I feel about the words. So I have moved on to Comfort Food by Kitty Thomas. You guys, maybe 10% in, maybe 15% in. I'm not that far in. I cannot stop highlighting this book. Although it's like a captor captive, and it literally opens with her first hours in captivity and her kind of recounting what's happened. It's her in her head talking a lot about the pervasive fear and anxiety women have around men, not because we're like terrified of men all the time, but just the subtle knowledge that we all have that if a guy's kind of acting a little, he could hurt you. I am just obsessed. There's something about this writing that is just really working for me. It's not like overly flowery or poetic, but it's so poignant. It kind of reminds me a little bit of how Nina G. Jones writes. I have to be careful with that because those are big shoes. But like, I'm so in love with it and almost nothing has happened so far. It's been her in her head recounting how she was taken captive, and then it's her like psychologically analyzing the situation and a little bit of what's happening to her and recognizing how quickly the Stockholm Syndrome is starting to set in her, and yet she can't really stop it. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. What is this book about? Guys, this is not good. This is how excited I got. Basically, this woman has been taken captive and the guy doesn't use violent means in order to kind of break her down. He uses deprivation tactics and behavioral training basically in order to slowly break her down and give her Stockholm Syndrome. So for example, one of the things that he is doing is she's in a huge amount of sensory deprivation, and he will just lightly like touch his hand on her in a calming way. Or while he's feeding her, he will begin fondling her. She needs to allow him to continue touching her in order to continue eating. So you kind of get how quickly that could start messing with you and kind of rewire how you're thinking about those interactions, but also the conflict of feeling kind of gross. And I love it because she's capturing that same thing that Nina G. Jones gets in Take Me With You, which is the when do I lash out and try and escape, and when is that in my best interest, and when is it in my best interest to be docile, and trying to figure out what the right answer is and how confusing that is. And they feel like they haven't made the right decision. I'm having such a good time with this book. And it's not that long, so I'm really sad. I'm hoping I'm going to fly through it because, as I said, it's Wednesday evening. I still have to edit this and finish that book. If this video's late, I'm so sorry. I am going to finish reading Comfort Food. I don't know how much I'll update you because I think this is less than 200 pages, but like if I've got some reactions, maybe I'll just pop in. Hi, so it's now Thursday. I was just waiting for my lunch to heat up and I thought I'd give you a quick update. Didn't get a ton of reading done last night. Unfortunately, it was a rough night. I did not sleep well. I got to bed late. It was bad. I was able to actually get some reading done this morning, which was excellent. So I'm now about halfway through. This is the exact type of captive that I really like because there's just enough psychological insight. There's just enough awareness from the character about how they are being manipulated. And at the same time, they are incapable of resisting it because who amongst us, truly, who among us wouldn't crack under this type of pressure, and how he's like behavioral training her. She gets rewards when she does the things he wants, like food, like better clothing. So that he's doing all of these things and he has to implement it through absolutely zero violence. He is never violent. She's almost so sensory deprived at points that she craves being touched, human contact, human interaction, because it's just something different to stimulate the brain. She's literally in this cell with the lights on, which if you don't know, that's a war crime. So that's how bad this type of torture is. You don't do that. I don't know who, well, Mr. Beast would, allegedly. I digress. But it's just really interesting watching her kind of give up at points. Like she knows if she stops doing certain things that she's going to succumb to the Stockholm syndrome. And yet she's so tired of fighting. She's been fighting for so long that she's just like, I just want this to be over. I want to be his puppet because I'm so exhausted by this process. You kind of feel like, okay, this is the end goal that he was trying to get her to. And then you realize once she gets to that point, no, there's additional places that we're trying to go. And he has made it very clear there is no hope for escape. This, again, this is the type of captive that I love. And I feel like it's not the popular version right now. Like a lot of it's just like, ooh, what if I fell in love with my captor? He's so mean to me, but he's kind of hot. That's not what this is at all. In fact, during scenes where it's like getting spicier, I hate to use that word in this context, I can't tell if she's distancing herself or fully disassociating or what's happening, but those passages are written in third person rather than first. I'm kind of obsessed with Kitty Thomas after just reading half this book, but I am really, really hoping I can finish this later tonight. I haven't even started editing this vlog. My goal is to finish this book today and get this vlog edited tomorrow, and then hopefully get it posted, not at my normal time, but at least on Friday. Let's see if I can succeed, yes? I don't have high hopes. Okay, see you soon. Well, I have finished Comfort Food. It's Thursday evening. Congratulations to me. I don't even know how to talk about the second half of this book like at all without spoiling things. It just takes such a turn. If you love digging into psychology, I think you'll love this book, especially if you like any of Lily White's stuff. It was so fascinating. Interestingly, also has mentions, yes, plural, multiple, water bottles being in the fridge. So what's up with that? The second half, you do get a lot of answered questions, but there's still kind of these lingering questions that I have about like how much of all of this was orchestrated. Has he done this before? How much of this was planned out? Also, like, I think if you're really into like the romantic side of dark romance, like lovey-dovey tender moments, this is not going to be the book for you at all. I would even say that this one probably leans a little bit more towards like erotic thriller, kind of similar to some of Lily White's stuff. I had such a good time with this book. I cannot believe what a punch it packs in. I think it's under 200 pages. Also, fun fact, this was published on my birthday many eons ago. But anyways, I don't want to spoil anything because it is such a short book. Also, I do want to note she does get, maybe this is too spoilery, she does get some choices, and I'll leave it at that. I'm going to leave things here. I realized I never rated the words. I think I'm gonna give that either a 4.5 star. Comfort food gets a 5 star. So this vlog went so well. I mean, you would expect if I'm prioritizing reads that they're gonna be really good, but I've had to DNF a couple already. So this makes me want to dig into that list even more and actually like round it out, because I need to get this edited and uploaded and everything for you guys for Friday. I'm gonna cut things off here. I apologize for my post workout appearance. We're looking a little wild and sweaty. Usually I like to close things off looking a little bit more put together, but alas, this is the status we find ourselves in. But don't forget to like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want more content from me, and don't forget to comment below if you have water bottles in your fridge or not. And I hope I see you on my next video. Bye-bye.